Experts, or being an expert, can be really useful and helpful. Expert knowledge can help you quickly determine a solution to a complicated problem. But there's also an issue, which is being an expert can also blind you sometimes. I want to tell you about a story where I recently had a problem with my computer, the computer that I use to edit these videos. The issue was that when I went to edit a video, my computer would just have really poor performance. It would start stuttering, locking up, or taking forever in order to complete an operation. And fortunately, I'm an expert. I am an expert at Microsoft Windows. I'm not the world's best expert at Microsoft Windows, but I've had my share of issues that I've resolved with Microsoft Windows. And I'm a ex-Microsoft certified engineer, so I know it pretty well. And Windows can be a fairly complicated system. In fact, in my team, I would tell the guys that if they encounter a copy of Microsoft Windows that is really messed up, well, take a quick stab at sorting it out. But if it becomes a significant adventure, the most cost-effective approach would be to save the data, re-image the machine, put a new copy of Windows on it, make sure the machine's running nice, then just restore the data. But in this case, this is my own personal machine, and I have things set up the way that I like them and a whole bunch of software installed, and I didn't want to have to go through the pain and hassle of reinstalling all that stuff and getting the machine just the way I like it. So I really wanted to take a surgical approach at this and actually fix the problem. Now, my computer was never a video editing monster by any means, but it worked. And now it's not working. So that tells me that something changed. And if I dig in deep enough, I should be able to figure out what had changed and undo that issue and get the machine running properly once again. Now, of course, determining what changed might not be so easy because there's so many piece parts in Windows, and some piece of software that you install could change a system setting or replace a system file and cause problems with performance. So I start investigating the machine, and I noticed, no surprise, that the graphics subsystem is just taking the computer to its knees. And I hadn't made any changes that I know of, but, well, put new graphic drivers in and see if that fixes it. That didn't fix it. And so I start making sure that everything is up to date and configured properly, and I went through and did a whole bunch of investigation and tweaks, and I improved the performance of the machine a little bit, but I didn't really fix the problem. And I hate to admit it, but I spent a long time digging through that machine, trying to figure out what went wrong with that Windows installation that was causing the machine performance to degrade. And so after days of looking at every little facet of that Windows installation, I still hadn't resolved the problem. My knowledge of Microsoft Windows sent me down that path, saying, we've got some machine configuration issue here. And it turned out, in the end, that that wasn't the issue. But because I'm an expert on that subject, that's the area I chose to look in. Well, the problem turned out to be much simpler than that. And it wasn't a Windows problem at all. What it was that the air vents on the computer had become blocked with very fine dust. And looking at it, you really couldn't see the dust. It didn't look bad, but when I took the machine out to the air compressor and blew the dust out of it, you could tell that it wasn't getting very good airflow. And so when I started doing intensive tasks on the computer, it didn't have enough cooling, and that caused the temperature on the graphics chip and the CPU to rise to a high level, which caused the hardware to throttle down the performance of the machine in order to keep itself within a safe temperature range. So all that was needed to do to fix the machine was to open it up and blow all the dust out of it and get it cleaned up, and then it ran just fine. So the moral of this is trust your experts, or if you're an expert, use that knowledge to your advantage. But keep an open mind that maybe the problem you're looking at isn't the problem that you suspect it is, and your expert knowledge may be nudging you down a path that isn't always the right path. So I hope that's a little reminder to you to keep an open mind and be open to the possibilities of issues and solutions that are outside of your comfort zone.